this is an outlandish theory. This is an outlandish social media theory. Because the way that they word it was murdered by someone fearful of what they might say. I think that is totally plausible. That is totally plausible.
I would put that as one of my top possibilities.
One of the top possibilities, I think, quite frankly, more likely than him committing suicide. Hello everyone, my name is JD.
And this is Logan.
And this is the WireTap, brought to you by the Conservative Wire. And we want to thank you all for joining us today. And let's just get right into it. This is from the New York Post. There's no video of Jeffrey Epstein's apparent suicide. And this is from yesterday night, August 11th at 5:03 p.m. And it says that there is no surveillance video of the incident in which Jeffrey Epstein apparently hanged himself in a federal lockup in Lower Manhattan. And although there are there are 9 cameras in the South Wing where the convicted pedophile was being held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, they were not trained on the inside of the cell, but instead on the outside. And it goes on to say, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams said that something doesn't smell right and it's not his dead body. Something is really troubling about all of this, and I think that it needs to be investigated extremely and very thoroughly to make sure there wasn't any foul play. And it goes on to describe, it says, federal prison officials violated normal procedures by leaving Epstein alone without a cellmate and not checking on him every 30 minutes the night before he was found. In addition, both of the guards overseeing the unit were working overtime, with one on his 5th straight day of extra hours and the other forced to remain on duty. And this brings me to another story from Fox that says that Epstein was not checked on for hours. So leading off of the fact that they were not checking on him every 30 minutes, apparently it was not just a hit or miss at certain instances. It was hours before they finally checked back up on him. And before we go any further with this, let's just digest all of that, in that you have somebody who has billions of dollars. He is a very wealthy elite who, has rubbed elbows with some of the other most elite in the United States and the world. And he's just convicted for sex crimes. He's in your Manhattan, prison. He's in New York in prison. And you have all of these things that are derelictions of duty and violations of protocol, and he winds up dead.
And further on, I don't know if you'll hit on it, they were talking, well, you already said, the cameras weren't trained on the cell.
You had 9 different cameras, and every single one of them just so happened to not be trained, to be viewing what was going on in the cell. I don't know how that happens.
And I think they said that was another violation of protocol. I think they said they were supposed to be.
I don't see how it can't be.
Well, originally he was on suicide watch.
Yeah, he was on suicide watch
2 weeks ago.
Because we made a video. We'll link that video down in the description of the video that we made last time about Epstein and his attempted suicide, and we made the comment then, what if this could have been somebody trying to get at him?
I still don't see to this day, even though after this weekend's events, that it was a suicide. I don't think.
I don't think so, and a lot of other people don't. And we're gonna kind of delve into and try to parse, what is fact and what is a little too far out there, or what is plausible, not necessarily fact. This is what we just read right now is fact. And we're going to try to parse a little bit of what seems reasonable and what is just kind of out there a little bit further than I'm willing to go. But I don't see... I mean, how do you have such a perfect storm of things that goes wrong, or that is done wrong, and done against procedure, and is in violation of code, and of, the normal ways that the prison does itself? Because then you have the guards who are being overworked, or, working extremely long shifts and long hours and more hours than they normally should be able to, probably by edict of some sort, or some sort of code in their with their union. I don't know if they're unionized or not, but you would think that definitely would violate something there. And then you have the cameras, and then the guards aren't checking on him for hours at a time, whenever he's supposed to be checked on for 30 minutes. I don't see, for one, why for such a high-profile individual
that you don't have people there.
No, that you don't have, 24/7, something there watching to make sure that nothing happens. I would think that would be at this correctional facility, priority number one. Is protecting this individual.
You don't have guards that you can
from himself and from others.
I mean, you don't have guards that can interchange.
Yeah.
What's happened here?
I just don't understand how this happened. And a lot of other people didn't understand how this happened either. And there's a lot of other people who seemingly do understand how it happened, and they went even on mainstream media, and on your news networks and everything, and especially on social media and whatnot. Immediately, people, some people started saying, "Ooh, Clinton did it. Ooh, Trump did it," because he's trying to cover up, his connections to Epstein. I mean, out of the two of those, the Clinton one would be more believable, because there's a lot more connection to Bill Clinton than there is Trump. We
talked about that in the last video.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode of this whole conversation, that Clinton has a lot more to be fearful about of what Epstein could reveal than Trump does. Because Trump at least has some credibility, because he has decried Epstein.
He has decried.
And he banned him from Mar-a-Lago after alleged incidents.
I feel like that's a little bit of a far out there conspiracy that I'm not ready to touch. I never count out conspiracies. But the investigation, I think...
I'm not really willing to go that far and say that it was Clinton who did something like that.
With this, I don't know why they'd want to kill Epstein. It's not like the investigation, if you killed him, was going to end.
Yeah.
On these kinds of
now
crimes,
you just add
the investigation can continue.
Yeah. I mean, because the only thing it removes Epstein and his testimony from the picture. You would now have to go and do forensic analysis of all of his documents and any kind of financial transactions, anything like that, which does make it significantly harder if you don't have his testimony to try to piece things together. It does make it significantly harder to be able to connect dots. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this stops here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably not, in all honesty. And this is a story from Wall Street Journal, and I wanted to read some of people I saw remark, and I don't know who it was exactly. It was hosts on...
Ben! Shut up!
Anyway, so this is a story from the Wall Street Journal, and I wanted to read some of this because somebody had noted, and it was a news host of some sort. I cannot remember from where. And they said that it's kind of weird that the media, and they pointed out the headline from the New York Times, and the media was saying, the way that they were wording it, usually in everything, they always say alleged. Alleged stuff until the court case, comes, and then, they're indicted or anything like that.
Yeah.
And none of them had alleged, for this alleged suicide. None of them said that. It was just, case closed. Epstein committed suicide. And it was kind of interesting to look at that. And going off of that, I wanted to look at this piece from the Wall Street Journal. And it says, conspiracy theories fly online in wake of Epstein death. And it's just weird what, you'll see in a minute, weird what they consider outlandish theories. So, it says, this is about 3 or 4 paragraphs down, and it says, among the more outlandish theories gathering attention on social media. This is very outlandish. According to the Wall Street Journal, Mr. Epstein, who for decades mingled with the rich and politically powerful, including President Trump and former President Bill Clinton, was murdered by someone fearful of what he may say.
Jeff Bezos.
This is an outlandish theory. This is an outlandish social media theory. Because the way that they word it was murdered by someone fearful of what they might say. I think that is totally plausible. That is totally plausible.
I would put that as one of my top possibilities.
One of the top possibilities, I think, quite frankly, more likely than him committing suicide. Because, like the last incident, there has been no mention of any sort of accessories for any of this kind of stuff. There were never any accessories discussed in the last instance of this 2 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever he tried to commit suicide. And we thought, it just seems like you would have heard something about that, because if you're trying to kill yourself, there's going to be something there in your cell as well that you tried to kill yourself with.
Yeah.
And as of right now, I've not heard anything about any sort of accessories that would be used in a suicide. And given the just general dereliction of duty and the abandonment of protocol by the guards, and then you had the thing with the cameras and everything, just the whole instance, and I'm sure that there's going to be more that comes out that wasn't done properly, because this is just initial reporting, because this is just happened on Saturday.
Yeah, this is fresh.
This
was
this
Friday
is still,
night, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
So you woke up to this on Saturday morning. So, this is, as of recording right now, this is Monday. So, there's still a lot that has not come out because it's not been released. So, we're still in the initial stages of reporting here. But I still haven't heard anything about any sort of accessories, and I imagine there's more that wasn't done. But I don't see how this is such an outlandish theory that he was murdered. This is the exact quote from the Wall Street Journal. Was murdered by someone fearful of what he may say. I think that's totally plausible.
I think it's a little outlandish to start the theories of Trump or Clinton.
Yeah.
Or I think somebody well known within the political staff.
That's the bridge too far for me.
Yeah. I could be proven wrong.
Definitely.
This could be the scandal of the century.
Crazier things can happen. But I'm not, because anyone who says, the Clintons did it, or the Trumps did it.
You're just doing that for political purposes.
You're just doing that. You're just spitballing at that point. You're just throwing names out there of people who you don't like, probably, and would like for this to be the result of. You would like this person to be the perpetrator of this. You don't know anything. There's no evidence at all to suggest that. And truthfully, there's not any evidence to support the theory that he was murdered. But quite frankly, there isn't a strong case
for suicide.
For suicide either. And given the holes and the events that we've known to have happened, it definitely leaves the door open for this for him to have been murdered in some way, or for him to have been killed in some way. And it goes on, and it butts this conspiracy up that he was murdered by somebody with another theory postulates Mr. Epstein isn't even dead. He went to be with Hitler and Elvis, I guess, and somewhere in Sudan, I don't know.
Argentina.
But
it's a good place to go.
Argentina. But and then it goes on, and this is what was trending on Twitter. One hashtag, Clinton body count, has already trended at various points in recent years. Another hashtag, Trump body count, pushed by anti-Trump users, has appeared in response to the Clinton hashtag. So, I just want a little caveat here. Even here, liberals aren't original, because they took the the hashtag that some conservatives made, Clinton body count, and then they just put Trump in front of it, and now it's the hottest crap.
Even the Washington Post even almost acknowledges, well, the Republicans did it first with the Clinton body count, so the Democrats just did it.
And it goes on.
No evidence.
And it says, also circulating were tweets and Facebook posts that falsely cited Hillary Clinton as predicting Mr. Epstein would commit suicide. So it's probably like screenshots or something, saying of like Hillary Clinton's like Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's probably a screenshot of that with a tweet that wasn't. It was either completely taken out of context or just fabricated, because you can do that. There's literal apps that you can use to make fake tweets.
Oh.
So that's what these kind of parody accounts and stuff do all the time. So it would not surprise me that was what was circulating.
If we're going back in the past and we're looking for things to try to connect to this, you just have to watch Family Guy. They always seem to get things first.
It is true. That's a good point. And way back whenever that was a thing, specifically Kevin Spacey, because there were a couple of clips and scenes within Family Guy, and one of them was Seth MacFarlane at, I don't know if it was the Oscars or what it was, whenever he was hosting, but he made a comment about Kevin Spacey, and years later it comes out, Kevin Spacey is gay, and he has all these allegations against little boys in his basement, and all this kind of stuff. And at the time, you and me had talked, and we had said it's obvious that this kind of stuff is open secret in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what other kind of stuff is an open secret. It's stuff that the public doesn't know about, the media doesn't know about, but it's pretty well known between actors and between the elite of Hollywood.
So that could be the case
and
here.
It's right there, and just think of that. Nobody drew any significance to that until the allegations started with Kevin Spacey. Nobody batted an eye at it until that happened, and then they ran across that. They were like, holy crap, it's right here out in the open. So it makes you wonder in other forms of media, and maybe even elsewhere in Family Guy or, with Seth MacFarlane, because he was ballsy enough. He was ballsy enough to just come right out and say it. Albeit in a nuanced way. And albeit it was, in a comedic fashion and a joke that was supposed to be so outrageous that nobody believed. But you look back on it, and it was right out there in the open. So yeah, it does make you wonder, what else is there. And, it's kind of that, you can tie that
to the vibe here, possibly.
You can tie it to this here. What else in any of our media or, anything is this kind of stuff open secrets? But it continues, and it says, also circulating were tweets and Facebook posts, as we said, with Hillary Clinton predicting suicide, and then other posts involved an unsubstantiated claim about a camera malfunction in Mr. Epstein's jail cell. Which, that, to me, I mean, I haven't heard anything else about whether or not a camera malfunctioned, but that's not too far off from what we know. That all the cameras were turned outside the cell. None of them were focusing on what was going on in the cell.
It was a malfunction, or else they specifically turned them that way.
And I mean, what is a camera malfunction? Does it mean, oh crap, the camera's gone black, or oh crap, it's not turned the right way? What does malfunction mean, for one? That one is pretty darn close,
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's maybe not totally accurate, it's pretty darned close to what the truth is. And here, as we're closing out, I wanted to hit a little piece from the New York Times. And it says, and this is an opinion piece, Epstein's suicide conspiracy show how our information system is poisoned. And it says, even on the internet bursting at the seams with conspiracy theories and hyper-partisanship, Saturday marked a new chapter in our post-truth, choose-your-own-reality crisis story. And how fitting that this would come from the New York Times, who would make these kind of remarks. And it goes on, and it says, hashtag Clinton body count and hashtag Clinton crime family were trending on Twitter. And they're upset about that. But whenever Massacre Moscow Mitch was trending on Twitter, they had nothing to say. They weren't upset at all. They didn't call for a toning down of the rhetoric or that it was a conspiracy theory or anything. Massacre Moscow Mitch was totally fine. But my God, if you say Clinton body count, you are such a racist. You're such a homophobe. You're a conspiracy theorist.
You're turning up the rhetoric after it's already so high.
You're throwing fuel on the fire. And I just wanted to read this one paragraph from here because it's such an ironic statement for the New York Times to make. The dueling hashtags and their attendant toxicity are a grim testament to our deeply poisoned information ecosystem, one that's built for speed and designed to reward the most incendiary impulses of its worst actors. It has ushered in a parallel reality, unrooted in fact, and helped to push conspiratorial thinking into the cultural mainstream. And with each news cycle, the system grows more efficient, entrenching its opposing camps. The poison spreads. We want to thank you guys for watching this edition of the WireTap, and we really love doing this for y'all. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're at the CWire on Twitter. You can see what we do in between videos. You can DM us. You can talk to us. Love that kind of stuff. You can look at us on SoundCloud. The link to that is in the description. You can go to SoundCloud, listen to the audio versions of our stuff. Make sure you follow, and like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more of our content. We try to upload once or twice a week. We got school coming up, but we're still going to try to keep that schedule pretty rigid. And make sure you put a comment down there of video ideas that you want to see in the future, and just try to have a conversation with us. We don't bite, and we like interacting with you guys. So again, for Logan, I am JD, and we will see you guys in the next episode. God bless.